Who are you? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person don't you want to be? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of being authentic for better mental health, and I'm sharing 5 ideas for how to be more authentic every day. So get comfortable and let's talk about better mental health. Hello and welcome, I'm Jeremy Godwin, and this week on Better Mental Health, I'm sharing 5 simple ways to be more authentic. Plus, I have a bonus point at the end because apparently my authentic self really likes to be someone who shares a gift with purchase every time I do one of these videos. So the thing about authenticity is that it's about being 100% you. And this is something I talked about in episode 96 of the podcast about self-respect, and you'll find that linked in the description below. Because the thing is that if we try to be something or someone that we're not, or worse yet, if we try to deny who we truly are, then it can lead to a lack of self-respect due to feelings of guilt and shame. And who wants that? Because when you strive to be your most authentic self every single day, you are investing in your mental health and well-being. Because self-acceptance involves accepting yourself. See, it does exactly what it says on the tin. So, here are 5 ways to be more authentic for better mental health, starting with reflect. And this is about taking some quiet time to sit with yourself and think about those questions that I asked you at the start of this episode. Who are you? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person don't you want to be? Now, the point of reflection isn't to sit there and beat yourself up or be your own bully by focusing on all of the things that you don't like about yourself. Instead, it's about objectively assessing where you are today and how you got there. And then it's about thinking about where you want to be in the future, because that is how we grow, through greater self-awareness. I talked about reflection in episode 12 of the podcast and self-awareness in episode 62. So check those out for more and you'll find the links in the description below. So my next point is analyze your belief systems. And the piece here is about considering what you truly believe as opposed to what are simply beliefs that you've inherited from family or society in general. For example, my mother has always been a big fan of greeting cards for nearly every single occasion that she can think of. Birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, the birth of the Muppets. I mean, that last one's a joke, but I wouldn't put it past her. Whereas for me, I just don't like greeting cards for a whole bunch of reasons. And so it's okay to have my own beliefs there. That means finding a middle ground. So I do Christmas and birthday cards with my mum, and that's it. The reason why I'm suggesting that you reflect on your belief systems is that it's important to really know and understand who you are and what you stand for, instead of just going along with what you've been taught to believe. And you can do that in a way that is respectful of other people's beliefs, while also giving yourself the space to find yourself and be true to yourself. Which leads to my next point. Identify your identity. Which is a delightfully bumper sticker sounding piece of advice, so let me explain what I mean. You are a product of your past, but you are also not your past. You are who you are today, in this present moment, and yet this moment will be over in a flash. Look, there it goes now. And so it's replaced by a new moment, and then that one is replaced by a new moment. And so on and so forth until you either lean into this idea of constant evolution or your head explodes because you're trying really hard to cling on to the past, which just doesn't work. Being authentic means learning from your past, being fully present in the here and now, and also being thoughtful about the steps that you're taking today in terms of how they are setting you up for the future. Look, I talk very often here and in the podcast about how the future is unwritten and unknowable. But at the same time, it's the choices that you make today that create your future. So choose to be the most authentic version of yourself possible and let that choice guide you as your future unfolds. Okay, so my next point is tell the truth to others and to yourself. And I know how boring, but you know that I'm right on this one. Because when you deceive other people, it takes you away from being truthful to yourself. And don't even get me started on the damage that you do to yourself by being dishonest to yourself. Look, I know that sometimes we might need to massage the truth a little bit, or maybe not say anything at all as a means of not hurting other people's feelings or whatever. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that if the intention is to do no harm. But what I'm highlighting here is about actual deception, going out of your way to speak falsehoods, to deceive other people. There is a world of difference between choosing not to say something that might offend someone versus not saying something out of fear or spite or whatever. The thing with the truth, especially for the big ticket stuff in life, is that it will always eventually come out. And so if you start from a place of truth in all things, then I think it causes far fewer issues in the long run, and definitely less drama. And that leads ever so nicely into my fifth point. Make choices that are aligned with your true self. You know how I said about less drama in the last point? I've reached a point in my life where I cannot stand drama, and I have absolutely categorically got no time for it whatsoever. Which means that the choices I make are influenced by that. Because I will go out of my way to avoid drama like the plague. I mean, I'm still assertive and I'm direct in all things, but at the first sniff of unnecessary drama, I'm on high alert, and then if it continues, I'm out of there faster than you can blink. For me, that has been a very big shift over the course of the past nearly 10 years, since I first had my breakdown in late 2011. And because I spent a few years after that dealing with severe depression and anxiety, I just came to realize that I had to be more focused on who I wanted to be and the type of life that I want to live. And drama just didn't fit in with it. You need to make the choices that are right for you. And so I want to encourage you to think about what feels most authentic for you in terms of both who you are and who you want to be. And then make those choices an absolute priority every single day. And that leads to my bonus point. Set your own boundaries. And I talked about boundaries back in episode 53 of the podcast. Plus I talked about setting healthy boundaries with family in this video. And you'll find both of those linked in the episode description below. And the piece here is about taking everything that I talked about today and then turning it into some clear limits for yourself around what you will and will not accept from other people and from yourself. Because boundaries help us to be clear about what we need, and they also allow us to ensure that we're being true to ourselves, which is basically the dictionary definition of the word authenticity. In my work, I talk a lot about three key principles: do no harm, be kind, and give more than you take. And those three things apply to how you treat other people, as well as how you treat yourself. Now, I really do believe that there are probably 50 million trillion different ethical belief systems that you can try to apply to your life in order to try and feel like you are being constructive and positive as you make your way through every single day. However, if you concentrate on those three things, which are quite simple and straightforward, but also quite powerful, then it pretty much takes care of all things. Now, I'm not saying that your version of authenticity has to look the same as mine, but have a think about how you can come up with an approach that is as simple as possible and which serves to push you to be the very best version of yourself and to grow a little every single day. So that's it for this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and if you made it all the way to the end, leave me a smiley emoji because there's nothing like getting a smile from someone. Do you want more on this subject? Check out episode 55 of the Let's Talk About Mental Health podcast, which was all about authenticity, and you'll find the link in the description below. And watch this video next for more practical mental health advice, and while you're at it, click here to subscribe to my channel for even more weekly advice for better mental health. Thanks so much for joining me today. Take care and talk to you next time.